Okay, so let's dive in. There's this real energy in India you just can't ignore, can you?
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Intense street cricket, right?
Yeah.
Where the rules just kind of depend on who shows up.
Yeah, or those debates about kabaddi, spilling out of every chai stall. The passion for sports is just, it's everywhere.
It's undeniable, like you said. It's not just a pastime. It feels like it's woven into the fabric of daily life,
Hmm.
a constant buzz.
Exactly. That raw enthusiasm, you can feel it right across the country.
And sort of swirling around all that energy, there's this, well, pretty ambitious target being talked about. India's sports industry hitting, what, $100 billion valuation by 2027?
Yeah, 100
Huh.
billion, that's the figure floating around.
Now that number, it's not just, a pie in the sky thing. It represents a potential massive shift, right?
Mm.
Turning something people love into a huge economic driver.
It's a really significant economic marker. It suggests sports could grow from just being, well, a passion into a major industry actually contributing seriously to the GDP.
So what we've been digging into, based on the material you shared, looks right at that vision. How do you actually do that? How do you turn potential into, well, dollars and real growth?
What are the roadblocks? That's the key question.
Exactly. And more importantly, what are the steps needed? What's the plan?
So yeah, our mission here is to unpack that headline figure, to look beyond the cheering and the viral moments,
Right.
and examine the structures needed, the investment strategies, the tech, the policies, all that behind the scenes stuff.
Because right now, it seems, while the passion's off the charts, the actual system around sports feels, well, a bit disconnected.
Fragmented. That's really the core challenge that comes up again and again. You have all these pieces, athletes, fans, some innovation happening, but they aren't always working together effectively.
It's like having this amazing natural athlete, loads of talent, loads of energy, but maybe they don't have consistent coaching
Right.
or the right diet, maybe training with gear that's kind of outdated. All that potential is there, but it's held back because the support isn't joined up.
Yeah. Or the other analogy used was like a Bollywood movie. Great stars, huge potential, but the script's just not quite hanging together to make it a true blockbuster.
That fragmentation means what talent just falls through the cracks.
It can, yeah. The pathways for development, the resources needed, the infrastructure, it's just not consistent everywhere. The talent's definitely there, but the system to properly nurture it often isn't.
And hitting that $100 billion number by 2027, fixing this fragmentation seems absolutely crucial. The raw talent isn't the bottleneck, is it?
No, not at all. With 1.4 billion people, I mean, the sheer human potential is incredible.
It's unparalleled.
The disconnect is in the structure. Identifying talent, training it, supporting it consistently, from the village level right up to the elite stage. That's the gap.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. The sources talk about this concept, this platform called IAMGAME, is that right?
That's it. IAMGAME.
And the idea is it's meant to be a connector, to kind of stitch together all these different parts of the ecosystem.
Exactly. Think of it as creating a central hub, like a dedicated space to bridge that gap between the raw potential and the structured support everyone agrees is needed.
Bringing together who exactly? Athletes, startups?
Everyone. Athletes, yeah. The startups doing cool things in sports tech or services, investors, obviously, policymakers who are crucial, even like global sports bodies.
Okay. And its goal is ambitious, sounds like.
Hmm.
Creating a space where, what was it, conversations become collaborations and vision turns into action.
That's the stated aim. Pretty big ambition, yeah. Basically trying to unify this fragmented scene, make it work like a proper system.
And it's built on this belief in India's massive untapped potential, which, I mean, makes total sense with 1.4 billion people.
Absolutely. Even unlocking a tiny fraction of that potential could be revolutionary for sports in India.
So how does this platform, IAMGAME, plan to actually do this? The sources lay out three main pillars, right? Things they see as crucial for hitting that target.
Yeah, 3 key areas they think need focused, strategic work to build a really robust sports industry.
Okay, pillar 1, structured investment. This sounds pretty fundamental, bringing in the serious money.
Because passion's great, essential even, but it doesn't build stadiums, right, or fund academies. Sports needs proper, sustained financial backing.
And there's a pretty stark contrast drawn here. You look at the wider Indian startup scene, what was it, $38 billion invested in 2021, something like
A
that.
huge number, yeah.
But the amount going specifically into sports startups, described as peanuts.
Yeah, it really shows where investor focus has been historically. Chasing those quick wins, maybe in fintech, e-commerce.
The unicorns.
Exactly. Leaving sports startups often struggling to get noticed, let alone funded, like the underdogs.
Right. We see amazing athletes succeed, but maybe not so many thriving sports businesses getting that unicorn status.
And that's where this platform sees a role, acting as a matchmaker.
Connecting the sports startups with investors who actually get the potential in that $100 billion market, helping them see the business case.
Precisely. They even called it a Tinder for sports entrepreneurship.
Huh. Okay, that paints a picture. Making those connections happen.
Yeah, it's about getting the innovators in front of the people with the capital to help them scale up.
But let's be real, that's not easy, is it? The sources mention this cultural hurdle. Convincing investors, maybe even families.
Definitely. Investors are often looking for, proven founders, clear operational models, predictable returns. Sports can seem riskier. More variables, longer timelines, maybe.
It requires a different mindset from the investor side, maybe a longer-term view.
Absolutely. And you have to compare it, right? Billions sometimes flow into really volatile stuff like, certain cryptocurrencies.
Right. Dogecoin gets funding, but a promising sports tech startup struggles. Makes you think.
It does. It's about recalibrating that perception of risk, seeing sports not just as fun in games, but as a legitimate, high-growth industry sector.
Okay, let's move to pillar 2, technology. Because, yeah, parts of Indian sports could definitely use a tech upgrade.
For sure. Modern sports runs on tech now. Not just fancy gear, but data, analysis, fan engagement. It's fundamental.
We live in an age of AI and drones, but maybe some training centers still feel a bit analog.
Could be. So the platform's pushing for cutting-edge tech. Things like sophisticated data analytics, not just for the elite pros, but for scouting talent way out in remote villages.
Wow, using data to find hidden gems instead of just relying on who lives near a big city academy. That's powerful.
Exactly. And also things like VR for training simulations, practicing scenarios again and again.
Under pressure.
Yeah, and even blockchain potentially for more transparent contracts for athletes, trying to clean up some of that historical murkiness in sports management.
Plus the fan side, right?
Yeah.
Using augmented reality interactive stuff to make watching way more immersive.
Definitely. The global sports tech market is exploding. India needs to catch up, really accelerate adoption here.
But the sources mention access and cost as big hurdles. This high-end tech isn't cheap.
No, it's not. And it tends to be concentrated in the big cities, so the ambition has to be about democratizing it.
Making it accessible.
Yeah, so a kid in Guwahati, say, has the same chance to benefit from tech-driven training as someone in Gurugram. That's a huge challenge, logistically and financially.
It's a funny thought, isn't it? If we're using tech to try and manage traffic chaos,
Yeah.
surely we can use it to systematically find and train the next PV Sindhu, wherever she might be.
It's about applying those tools strategically to solve real problems in talent ID and development.
Okay, pillar 3. Policy support. This is the government, the rules, the regulations. And it sounds like this needs work too.
Policy really sets the stage for any industry, and the feeling is current policies might not be quite designed with the specific needs of a growing sports industry in mind. They might be well-intentioned, but maybe not fit for purpose yet.
So what kinds of policies are needed? What are they asking for?
Things like tax breaks, maybe, incentives for sports startups, making it easier to get land and funding for building proper facilities, nationwide.
Not just in a few places.
Right. More money for grassroots programs. And, crucially, cutting through some of the red tape, the bureaucracy that can make it tough to set up and run sports ventures.
The sources compare India to other places, right?
Yeah.
Like the U.S. college system or China's state academies.
Yeah, different models. The U.S. has that huge college sports pipeline. China has the very focused state-funded system aiming for Olympic medals.
And India. Khelo India is seen as a good step.
A positive step, yes. Promoting grassroots sports, finding talent. But the analysis suggests it needs, more. More funding, more facilities, and maybe a wider focus beyond cricket to really lift the whole ecosystem.
There was that slightly pointed comment, too. If laws can be changed quickly for industrial investment, like increasing working hours,
Yeah, the example from Andhra Pradesh.
then surely policies can be created to make sports a truly viable professional career path.
It highlights that policy can be responsive when there's perceived economic value. And part of that policy push needs to tackle that cultural perception we talked about.
That sports is risky, like joining the circus.
Kind of, yeah. Supportive policies can help make it seem like a serious, legitimate choice for young people and their families.
Okay, so aiming for $100 billion by 2027. It's clearly not a slam dunk. There are real
Oh,
hurdles.
absolutely. It's a challenging road. Cricket's dominance, culturally and commercially, is still a huge factor. It can overshadow other sports, suck up resources.
And that infrastructure gap outside the big cities. Uneven playing fields, literally.
Yeah.
Coaches juggling multiple roles.
It creates inequality of opportunity right there, just based on where you happen to live.
And yeah, that cultural mindset. Convincing parents, kids, that sports isn't just a hobby. It can be a real career.
Changing that takes time, visible successes, and those support structures being genuinely in place.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
Ah,
There are reasons for optimism mentioned too,
yeah.
right? On this journey to 2027.
Definitely. There are positive signs. The whole Indian startup scene is maturing. Investors are getting more willing to look at niche sectors, including sports tech.
And those big international wins. Neeraj Chopra, PV Sindhu. Athletes succeeding in different sports. That must have a huge impact.
Massive impact. It creates this wave of national pride, shows it's possible to win big outside cricket. It inspires belief, validates the potential.
And things like this IAMGAME platform, actually trying to connect people, the athletes, the businesses, investors, government. That collaboration seems key.
It's absolutely essential, fostering those connections to build something more unified.
It does make you think. And in a country like India, so diverse, where people argue passionately about the best biryani for decades.
Huh. Good luck finding consensus there.
Right. Surely, we can harness that energy to build a sports ecosystem that celebrates lots of different sports, not just one, and isn't just waiting for the next superstar to emerge.
It takes directed effort, for sure, and collaboration, using that passion purposefully.
And looking outwards, comparing India globally, how does it stack up?
Well, the global sports industry is enormous. $500 billion, maybe more. Places like the US, China, Europe, they have very developed systems. Government, private money, tech, all integrated.
You see it in the U.S. college system feeding the pros, China's Olympic machine, European football scouting tech.
Exactly. India, in that context, is seen as having this incredible raw potential. The people, the passion, but lacking that same level of systematic structure and
A
integration.
newcomer with potential, maybe.
Something like that. But the idea isn't just to copy-paste models from elsewhere. It's
Yeah.
about learning, adapting, giving it that Desi flavor, as the sources put it.
Okay. Tailoring it to India.
Right. So maybe regional academies specializing in what's strong there. Cricket in Mumbai, sure, but wrestling hubs in Haryana, badminton in Hyderabad, using tech for scouting in Madhepur or Mizoram.
Making it fit the local
Yeah,
context.
exactly. But achieving that kind of tailored nationwide system hinges entirely on collaboration, getting everyone working together.
And you can't forget the fans in all this.
Yeah.
That massive, passionate fan base.
No way. They're the heartbeat, really. The enthusiasm is just incredible, filling stadiums, lighting up social media.
But the sources say they need more than just teams to cheer for. They need better access.
Yeah, access, affordable tickets, reliable ways to watch, community events, feeling closer to the action, the players.
And tech plays a role there too, making it more interactive.
Huge role. Imagine apps letting you predict scores live, vote on MVPs, maybe even try virtual reality training drills.
Moving beyond just watching to actually participating somehow.
Exactly. That market for truly interactive fan experiences in India, it feels massive and largely untapped.
It's a fun thought, right? If you can get groceries delivered in 10 minutes,
Yeah.
surely you can build sports apps that make fans feel like part of the game. Maybe that filter where you're holding Neeraj's javelin?
Huh? Why not? Using tech to deepen that connection with fans is definitely key to unlocking the full potential, economically and culturally.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive suggests India's sports scene is really at a crossroads. That $100 billion target by 2027, super ambitious, but maybe not impossible?
It seems attainable, yeah. But it depends heavily on sustained focus on those pillars: structured investment, smart tech adoption, and genuinely supportive policies. And all of it needs that collaboration glue holding it together.
And ultimately, this isn't just about money or medals, is it?
No, it feels bigger than that. It's about building a culture where sports is truly valued, supported structurally, a place where it's a legitimate, enriching path for everyone involved: athletes, coaches, the business side, the fans.
But systematically unlocking all that potential we talked about.
Exactly, channeling that amazing energy into building something lasting and thriving.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Imagine if India really pulls this off. If sports shifts from being seen as, a risky gamble or just about cricket, to becoming this fully integrated, economically powerful, culturally central part of the nation? How much could that change India's image globally? And maybe more importantly, how could it change the aspirations and opportunities for people within India? That feels like a pretty powerful potential transformation.